welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new, and welcome to my first ever reading vlog. I'm so excited to start introducing reading vlogs onto my channel. They are some of the videos that I watch the most of. I love watching reading vlogs. They are so relaxing, they're cozy, and I love hearing people's thoughts about different books. So I figured, you know what? It is something that is like so prevalent in my life. It's probably my favorite hobby these days, especially because it gets me away from the screen, which is really important to me. Everything I do is on screen, work, and just, you know, obviously life-wise. So I love something that can pull me away, and I can do it inside, I can do it outside, I can go to the coffee shop. Like, I just love it. I wasn't a reader for a really long time, and then the pandemic happened. I broke my foot as well, and you know, all that time inside and stuck on the couch, I really took like a liking to it, and now it's my favorite thing to do. So I wanted to start introducing some reading vlogs onto my channel, and I asked on my Instagram if you would like to start seeing them, and it was an overwhelming yes. So this is the first one, and it was going to be solely all about the new Riley Sager, The House Across the Lake. But I leave for vacation at the end of this week, and I really need to also finish The Haunting of Hill House. So this is going to be a double reading vlog. We are going to be finishing The Haunting of Hill House, which I started reading over the weekend, and I'm only on page 52. This is actually really short though. I think it's only like 200 and something pages. I have been wanting to read this for quite a while, and Summerween just happened, which if you didn't know is like a week-long readathon that's like brings Halloween into summertime. It's hosted by Gabby and Olivia on like the BookTube world, and I participated, and this was one of the ones that I wanted to read, but I didn't get to finish it because I read some other ones. I prioritized some other ones first. And I checked this one out from the library a couple of weeks ago, and I have to get it back before I leave for vacation at the end of this week. So we're going to finish this, and if you didn't know, this is like a classic haunted house sort of vibe, and you might be like, why are you reading that in summertime? I am so ready for fall. It is ridiculous. So I'm bringing the vibes into summer when I can't have them physically because it is like 90 degrees and humid outside. So anywho, I'm excited to finish this, and then we will be moving on to The House Across the Lake, which is probably my most anticipated book of the year. I love Riley Sager thrillers. Well, I should say, as a whole, I love Riley Sager thrillers. I have not loved some of them, and I have really loved some of them. I love Home Before Dark. I love Lock Every Door. I could have done without the camp one, which I can't even remember what the name of it is. The Last Time I Lied, I think, is the name of it. I could have done without that one. Last year's iffy, Survive the Night. Yeah, you know. If you know, you know. So, regardless of whether or not I enjoy this, it's always a good time. I always enjoy reading them, whether I love the plot or not. It's always an adventure. It's always a wild ride. It's either like a total eye roll or I end up loving it. But either way, it's still so fun, so I wanted to document it. So we are going to be reading both of these this week, and I am so excited. So if you are too, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know like what you would love to see out of these reading vlogs. Is there a certain style you like? Do you want them to be more cozy? Do you want them to be more chit-chatty? Let me know in the comments, and let's go ahead and dive in. So it is currently Monday, the 25th of July. It is during the day, so I'm actually working today. So I'm not going to get to read until later once I finish work, probably around like the 4 or 5 o'clock mark. That's usually when I like read throughout the day. It's the perfect way for me to like unwind and like get my eyeballs off of a screen and into something else. So that's typically when I read. So I'm actually going to go finish my work day, and then we will reconvene afterwards when it's time to read. So I just finished up work for the day, so I'm going to sit and read Haunting of Hill House for a little bit. And if you don't know what this book is about, it is basically your classic haunted house story. So people get invited to come to the house. There's this guy who wants to see if it's actually haunted or not, so he sends out, sorry for the beeping, he sends out invites, and there's 4 people, I believe, total. We're still getting introduced to the characters of where I'm at, but I believe there's 4 people total, and everything starts off normally, and then things go awry, and, you know, the story takes off from there, as you could imagine. Like I said, I'm only about 50 pages in right now, so we're still kind of getting introductions. So far, there are 2 people that have arrived at the house, and then the groundskeeper is there, and his wife, and that's all we've gotten introduced to so far. So it's more just like setting up the plot in the first 50 pages, as you would expect. The main guy has not arrived yet, we haven't met him yet, so I'm excited to see how far I get. So, let's sit and read for a little bit. Just have to talk about this writing for a second. It is so pretty. Let me just read you this real quick. Around them, the house steadied and located them. Above, the hills swept watchfully. Small eddies of air and sound and movement stirred and waited and whispered, and the center of consciousness was somehow the small place where they stood, 4 separated people, and looked trustingly at one another. Are you kidding me? That is so pretty. The descriptions in this book, chef's kiss. It is now Tuesday, and I wanted to update you. So I am now currently, also sorry, there's landscapers here, 206 pages into The Haunting of Hill House, and I think there's only like 230 something pages. I downloaded the audiobook this morning because I wanted to listen to it while I was getting ready, and I dropped ZD off at her daycare for the day. ZD's my dog, in case you were unaware. And I was listening and reading while I was eating breakfast. And we are now 206 pages into this book, and I will tell you that there is nothing happening in this book. Like, there's a little things happening, little hauntings, shall we say, but overall, it's a little stale, and I'm a little bored. But I'm gonna finish it. I only have like 30-something pages left. But yeah, so we have met all of the characters, shall we say, and some of them were brought to the house for their, like, abilities. Like, one of them is, like, in tune with poltergeists and that kind of thing. So they were all brought for a specific reason, and they're now staying in this house trying to see what, you know, the stirrings are of this legend of Haunting of Hill House. Like, is it actually haunted? Is there a scientific thing or scientific explanation of why things are happening? And then the doctor who invited them all in has his wife show up. And honestly, I will say, all of these are characters so annoying. Like, they are so annoying. Especially the two women that were brought in. And I hate to say that, but like, I find them both so irritating. And the wife that's now here, I'm like, are you kidding me? So yeah, there's only, in the audiobook I have, it's at 87%, so really only like 40 minutes left. And I'm like, when is something going to happen? Like I said, there's small little hauntings happening, but nothing crazy. Nothing that's like made me gasp or scared me at all or whatever. And I don't know if that's kind of like supposed to be the point of this. It's just like the house is the entity kind of thing. We'll see what happens in the last little bit, but unless something happens, this is going to be an extremely low rating for me. So before I start work, I'm just gonna finish this because I would like to start The House Across the Lake later today when I read after work. So before I clock in and do all my filming, I'm just gonna take the last little bit. Like I said, I'm listening to the audiobook at 2x speed, so there's really only like 20 minutes left, and like I said, there's only like 30 something pages left, so I'm just gonna finish it, and then I will check back in with you and let you know my final thoughts on this. Well, I finished it, and it didn't get much better at the end. I'm sorry to say. This just completely fell flat. I liked the first, 75 to 100 pages. I think the writing is really good. It's really descriptive, it's pretty, and so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But after those first 100 pages, once you get to know the characters a little bit more, for me, I just found them all, like I said, a bit annoying, and the plot didn't really go anywhere. I'm sorry for all the landscaping noises, by the way. Apparently, this is just the day. Yeah, it just, some things happened, and I'm not gonna, give any spoilers or whatever. Little things did happen, but it just wasn't what I was expecting, and maybe I just had way high of expectations, for a haunted house book, but it, to me, was not spooky in the slightest. I don't know. I really wanted to love it. I didn't. I liked the first little bit there, and then it just fell flat for me. So as far as rating goes, I'm probably gonna give this 2 stars. Maybe 2.5, just because I did like the writing. But beyond that, my gut tells me a 2. So unfortunately, it's just gonna be a 2. We are going to return this back to the library, and we are going to move to the star of this video, hopefully, which is The House Across the Lake. But I need to get to work first, so, and these guys aren't quieting down at all, so I'm gonna get to work, and I will crack that book open later today. Alright, I am done with work for the day. I have to go pick up the dog in a few minutes, but when I get back, I'm going to start in on The House Across the Lake, and I couldn't be more excited. And really, any thriller, I don't read the synopsis hardly ever. I also do this with horror most of the time. I just like to go in knowing nothing, but because this book has been like flying around and it is so popular, I do know like a small bit about it. So I do know that it takes place in Vermont and that a woman is staying in this house, and there is a house across the lake with a couple, and she witnesses, I believe, them fighting or something like that, and then I believe one of them goes missing. Again, I could be totally wrong because I didn't read the synopsis and I'm not going to, but from the chatter that I've heard, that's the general premise of this book. If you've read a Riley Sager before, you know that he follows a particular pattern in his books, and I'm always curious to know like if he's continuing said pattern or if he finally has like broke off. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not going to spoil the pattern in case someone out there has not read multiple Riley Sagers and doesn't know what I'm talking about. I don't want to ruin it for you. But if you have read multiple Riley Sagers, you know the pattern I'm talking about. So I'm curious to see if this book follows suit. Survive the Night definitely did. So we'll see with this one, but I'm so excited to get into it. I hope I love it, but if I don't, I know it's just going to be an adventure regardless. So let's go pick up the dog first, and then when I get back, we are going to dive in and try to get a good dent of this done. Good morning. It is now Wednesday, and I wanted to check in. I got about 45-ish pages last night into The House Across the Lake, and I have some thoughts so far. First of all, Mr. Sager, how dare you quote Taylor Swift in the beginning of this? I mean, I am a huge Taylor Swift fan, if you didn't know. Huge. And on the quote page is a quote from Miss Taylor herself, from No Body, No Crime. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. Setting the tone much? I think so. So, loved to see that. In the first 45-ish pages, okay, here's another thought first. I would love Riley Sager to do a book, and this is not a spoiler by any means, and this is not the pattern that I was talking about yesterday, but it is another Riley Sager pattern. I wish he would write a book that does not involve a messed up female. Why do they all have to be female point of views, and why do they all have to have something wrong with them? Something going on where their life is a mess. Literally all his protagonists, they are all a disaster. I would love to see him write a book from a male point of view whose life is a disaster. Like, why? Why is it always women? It is just one of those things that, like, don't get me wrong, I love Riley Sager books, but, like, I just once Or going forward, I would love to see him switch it up and not have the main protagonist be a complete disaster. The main protagonist, her life is a bit of a mess, so we're just getting set up there. There is something that happens within the first couple of pages that really like sets the tone for where this book is going to go, and I'm not going to say it because I think that it will ruin it, but something happens very quickly where I was like, oh, you can probably even see it all in my face in the footage from yesterday. Literally, I was like, oh, I was not expecting that, like, so right away. But it hooks you in, and I love when books do that. So now I'm like, okay, how did we get from there, or how did we get from here to there? This book does go back and forth in timeline, which I also really enjoy. There's thens and there's now, and they're broken up. So let me see if I can find one for you. These cool, like, pages, which is awesome. So yeah, this is gonna go flip-flop back and forth, and again, I'm not gonna tell you too much because I like to go into thrillers not knowing anything, so I don't want to give too much of the plot away. What I will say is what I read yesterday, I'm enjoying, I'm intrigued, I want to know. I just wish that it wasn't a protagonist whose life was a disaster yet again. So he's following suit in that sense. We'll see if the other pattern follows suit as well. My goal today would be to finish the first part of the like before kind of chapter. So that would bring me up to around like the 100-page mark. So that is what I would like to complete today, but I have to work first, so we're going to work, get some things done. Today is a secondary filming day for me. I'm trying to stock up on content before I go on vacation, so I'm going to be filming, captioning, doing all the things, scheduling posts, all that fun stuff. So that is my day today. I'm going to get to it, and I will check in with you later when I pick up the house across the lake again. I am having one of those days where I just feel like I've spent all of my energy and I don't have any left. I feel like I've put in a lot of work over the past like 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and like done a lot of videos and creative energy that like my tank is just empty. So I'm clocking out of work. I only have like 10 hours left to work for the week anyways, so I'm going to clock out. It's a little bit earlier than I intended to, but that's okay. I am going to read for a bit and hopefully get into, you know, a good chunk of this, but I'm tired. And, yeah, I feel like I just don't have any energy left, so I just need to like sit and read and like not look at a screen for a little while. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read for the next little bit, and I will check back in with you when I have something to update you on. Hello, it is now Friday. I didn't vlog anything yesterday. It was a crazy day. I was trying to get ready for vacation, but I did do some reading as well in the evening, and I got up to page 180 in The House Across the Lake. It's really hard to talk about thrillers when you're like don't want to give away a ton of the plot and obviously spoilers or anything like that. But what I will say is that I try to keep an open mind when it comes to thrillers. Like, I try to just have fun with it and, you know, not think too much into it, that kind of thing. But when the same author writes women a certain way, it just gets you thinking. Like, I genuinely am like, does Riley Sager hate women. I'm getting some vibes from this that I'm just like not enjoying. Overall, the story, it's starting to pick up. I do think it's going to continue in the Riley Sager pattern of thrillers because we are now introduced to 3 different males, and if you know the pattern, you know. So we have 3 different males involved in this story now on top of our main protagonist and the person who has gone missing. So it's picking up. It's fast-paced, which I enjoy. I'm not bored, but every single time I just read about this main character, I'm like, Riley Sager really does, like, hate women. And that's just, like, me saying that. Obviously, I don't know that for sure. But just from reading his books over and over and over again, and it's the same thing over and over and over again, where this woman is helpless and she is falling apart and her life's a disaster and everything. Like, and I know a lot of thrillers have that kind of trope in them, but it just, when it's the same author over and over and over again, it's like, do you really feel that way? Like, do you? Overall, the plot, like I said, picking up, it's going. It's going. I like the before, I like the now, I'm curious to see where it goes, what happens, who done it, that kind of thing. I have my thoughts, but, you know, we'll see what happens. But overall, I'm just like, will I read another Riley Sager after this? I'm not sure. We're actually leaving for vacation in a little bit, so you're gonna come along. I'm gonna finish this while I'm there, hopefully today. That would be like my overall goal, is to finish this today, but if not, then very early tomorrow. We'll wrap this up, and then I'm actually gonna be starting another reading vlog while I'm there for a bunch of fantasy books that I've been dying to read. So let's go on vacation. I am officially on vacation. Yesterday, oh my word, what a whirlwind. So, drove here, realized I forgot the dog food, had to drive all the way home, and then drive back again. What should have been just a like 45 minute travel day turned into a 3-hour travel day. Needless to say, I didn't read much last night, and I was just like over it by the time I got here. We just got pizza, we hung out. I did manage to read a little bit last night, but I was just so tired that I didn't want to update you. And, well, I just finished The House Across the Lake, and what did I just read is the question. I have so many thoughts. None of them are good. What am I gonna rate this? 1.5? Maybe 2 stars? I wish I had something remotely good to say about this, but I just don't. And I don't want to give anything away, but it was just awful. Twists were not good. Predictable, especially if you've read a Riley Sager before. And just where it went, if you've read the Book of Cold Cases, use your imagination. Similar vibes, not completely, but if you know, you know. I just don't even know what to say about this. It was fast-paced. I like the then and now timelines. But besides that, I think he needs to step outside his bubble of a comfort zone and start writing thrillers that have another sort of plot line, because it's just getting old, it's getting stale, and it's just getting utterly ridiculous. I feel like even if you were just coming in as this was like your first Riley Sager, even still, I feel like not many people would enjoy where this went. So yeah, this is getting a 1.5. 1.5. I can't even give it a 2. It's definitely gonna be a 1.5. And I hate to say this, but I don't know if I'm gonna pick up a Riley Sager again. I say that and I'll probably read one next year if he comes out with one, but like, right now, I'm so done. And that is the end of this first reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed this despite me not enjoying the books as much as I hoped to. But that's just the gamble you play, you know? You just never know. And these two just weren't it for me. But I'm actually going to be starting another reading vlog right now with a list of fantasies that I have been dying to read. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are not already. Turn on the bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!